Okay, we're going to start back up again on the IT committee. We're back on a public agenda item. Again, I will ask for any declarations of pecuniary interest or conflicts from any board members. Bob had his hand up, but I don't think so. That's fine. Moving on. Minutes from the previous meeting. This was a meeting from February the 9th on Thursday. A mover and seconder to put the minutes, Member Gale, Member Marshall. Any errors in the minutes reported by anyone? Not seeing anything from anyone. Thank you very much. With a show of hands for approval. Thank you. So that item is number 1, and that is now dealt with. Item 2 is a report from the service called SafeNet High-Speed Encryption Appliances. So this is a report for an allocation of funds, but I'll turn it over to the chief. It's a service report.
Akram can walk you through the report if you wish.
Thank you, Chief. Through Mr. Chair. So this report is requesting approval of an invoice in the amount of $207,569.41 for equipment replacement. The equipment I'm talking about on the report is really responsible for encrypting the data between our new data center and the branch offices. The original equipment we have that is in place today is about 9 years old. It's out of maintenance, and it's reaching its end of life. And the second part, it is a critical piece to support the enhancements and the changes or the upgrades we're doing at the branch offices for the telephony system and the unified communication. And the upgrades were approved by the board back in end of October of 2016. So this project is replacing that legacy equipment that is no longer compatible to support the new upgrades. And that's what we're seeking the approval for.
Thank you. So this item then is only two. It's only for one link, 2 ends, or is it for all the different stations?
That's for the entire. So that's for all the remote sites. We initially, when we actually built the new HQ and introduce the new telecom infrastructure, we got 2, and we ensured that it was fully compatible with the new network, with the new equipment we're putting in this building. And when the board has approved the upgrades at the branch offices, we had to actually replace the legacy equipment. And again, it's over 9 years old, and it's no longer compatible with the network, but it is for the entire branch offices.
Okay, so you've got a capital budget item for this, which was already approved by the board at some point in time. It's just we haven't expended anything out of it.
Correct, and that's why I identified in the beginning of the report, this is part of the 2017 IT capital replacement, and that's got approved by the board and then fully approved and initiated through regional council, I think late last year. But so yeah, this is in line of that expenditure.
Okay, thank you. Member Stewart had his hand.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and through you, what would be the expected life of this equipment?
At a minimum, we would expect a minimum of 5 years life expectancy. I mean, we do not replace it unless we feel it cannot be maintained or too expensive to maintain or is no longer compatible. But at a minimum, we look at a 5-year life cycle. In some cases, it could be 7.
So in the case of the past one we had, we got like 8 or 9 years?
We're within the 9th year right now.
Okay. And is there any annual software costs associated with this thing, or annual maintenance agreements or anything like that that are going to come back again and again?
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair. Yes, it will say that in addition to the capital cost, it comes with an annual maintenance, and the annual maintenance allows us for on-site support, vendor support, and upgrades. And in this situation, it is almost 50% cheaper than having to try to get maintenance on the legacy equipment.
So I'm looking at the invoice on the back when it says the maintenance service is $3,754. So that's an annual cost? Or is that a cost per?
That's an actual annual cost. So in this situation, if you take a look at the quotation, The first line of maintenance, it talks about the 8 devices, so each one has a maintenance amount of 3,700. And then it will have also the plus, which allows us 24/7 support. The fact that this is just to maintain 24/7 operations. So you're correct. This is annual, and it's usually included in our budgets.
So there'd be, if I'm reading correctly, then after this year, do you get the first year maintenance included, or do you have to buy that one as well?
Well, this 203,000 plus tax is included in the first year maintenance.
And then the following years, at today's prices, we're looking at roughly $31,000 in maintenance going forward?
That is correct. And usually what we do is when we negotiate these deals, we do our best to lock in prices so it protects us from inflation. And in this situation, we wanted to protect the inflation of ordering it late, and the inflation was about 7%, plus 7% of the maintenance.
Okay, thank you.
Member Marshall?
Thank you. I'm going to expose my ignorance here. What does this piece of equipment do?
This piece of equipment allows us to encrypt any data transmissions between our main data center over the public or the fiber network back into the branch office and vice versa. So we are mandated through the RCMP to ensure all our data is encrypted end to end. This appliance also allows us to do that encryption. And at the same time, it allows us to have data transmissions, voice, telephone voice, video transmissions, again, encrypted. So the core thing is the encryption end to end, and that's an RCMP mandate.
Thank you. And is this used by other police forces like Hamilton or Toronto or?
I haven't checked if every single, this is widely used by a lot of police services. Some other ones choose anyone. This is RCMP certified.
Not seeing anything. A mover and seconder to receive the report and proceed with the expenditure. Member Bonham, seconded by Member Caslin. All in favor of this? Thank you. Wow. That's it. So the Technology Committee agenda is finished for today. Thank you very much. Meeting's adjourned. We'll take about a 5-minute break. As soon as staff comes in, we'll be ready to go with licensing, and Member Gale will be the chair of that. Thank you.